Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? I am Ted Davies, and this is TED Talks on Ted Davies Artistry on Tuesdays. A lot of tease there, but I promise we will not tease you today because we have an awesome creator. Damion Waldbrunn is a creator that I've been wanting to have on here for a bit. He's making a lot of noise in a good way in the indie creative market, and I wanted to show you everything that he does, from fabricating to creating comic books to writing stories, drawing, and he's a wealth of knowledge, and I think you guys are going to really appreciate who he is and what he does for the community. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about what's in the coffee cup today. We have my own blend that Indian River Roasting Company put together. It is called Waking Dragon, and we're going to check out a little bit about Indian River Roasting Company. Be right back. Here at Ted Davies Artistry, we take coffee seriously, and so does our sponsor, Indian River Roasting Company. It's fair trade, organic, and they're artisans just like me. The only difference is I use watercolor and ink, and they use coffee beans, and I enjoy it all through my day. So do yourself a favor, go to the description when you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Find Indian River Roasting Company's website, use the promo code CaffeinateTED2021, and save 10% on your purchase. Yeah, so check out everything Indian River Roasting Company's doing. They're in the description on this YouTube channel. Check out what they're doing and save 10% when you use that promo code CaffeinateTED2021. It'll get you caffeinated and save you a few bucks. So we also want to talk about Cashman's Comics in Bay City. John Cashman's been there 25 years. It is an awesome time right now there because he's having a sale till September 4th. And it's Free Comic Book Day coming up next Saturday, the 14th. And one of the things I want to stress is that it's a smaller shop, so I would recommend you guys, if you're going to cosplay or not, wear a mask when you're in there. Possibly, there's a lot of people. Just out of just being good for everybody, whether you're vaxxed or not. I think it's a nice thing to do, but it's up to you, obviously. But I suggest that maybe you do it just out of being courteous to everybody else. Smaller shop. I want everybody healthy, and that's my take on it. But go out and see what he's doing because it's awesome. It is Free Comic Book Day next Saturday, and I think that it starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Michigan time. And check out everything you're doing. Let's see what he's got going here on his promo.
And every day I wake up feeling the same way now. Need to find something to believe. Every night the dreams we make, they're haunting my head now.
Yeah, John is awesome. He's been there, like I said, 25 years, and he's a staple in Bay City. Say hello to Petey the dog when you go down there to the shop, and hopefully we'll see you there on Free Comic Book Day on the 14th. So check it all out, and check out Cashman's Comics on the web as well. They ship nationwide, whether you're a novice collector or seasoned collector like myself, and they sell my books there too, as well as many other indie published works, which is kind of nice. That's John, though. That's what he does. So I also want to tell you about our affiliation with the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. This is a newer page, I guess, but I wanted to show you there's a couple things that are changing on there. Drinking with the Davies is changing to 7 p.m. Right now, every third Friday of the month until we get into the winter months, and then we'll be back to normal scheduling. But we decided to move it down just a little bit later. Makes it a little bit easier on the Davies household, and should start out your weekend really well, hopefully, and safely. But today is Tuesday, and we start out with TED Talks, and we finish out the day with Clever Title Pending with Brian K. Morris, the grand poobah of Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Check out everything that we're doing on this page and all the YouTube channels. Of course, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, I'll be co-hosting The Truth Mongers with Glenn B. Fleming. It's been a very good program. We're going to be talking about resonance sound in ancient architecture. What were the ancients up to? We're talking about sound and the power of sound, the energy that it creates. And when you create that energy, where does it go? Interesting stuff. So we will talk about that on the Truth Mongers. Okay, so now that we got all the bills paid, of course, I got to show you Waking Dragon coffee. Remember, talk about that when you're going to purchase some stuff from Indian River Roasting Company. Just throwing that out there. Okay, I think we're there. We're going to get to the comments in a minute, but I want to bring up Damion. He is, like I said, the creator, and he is the man of the hour right now. And we'll be talking a little bit about an hour-ish about Damion, and I want to welcome you, good sir. I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Okay. When did they drop you off on this planet?
October 18th, 1976.
It's a good day. I'm glad you're here. Glad they left you. Welcome. I'm glad that you're I'm glad you finally accepted my my craziness and said, "Sure, I'll be on your show." And you're live too.
I feel like I should squeeze it in.
Thanks, man. We got some props. We got Carl and Donna. We got Eric Hawkins in the house. Everybody's getting in here. If you guys have questions, just label it question. Willow, hello, how you doing? So we're global, we're international, we're in Canada too. Okay, so I start out like that, like when I was saying with, you were always in Louisville or no? That's where you were born and raised?
Here, born here, lived here till I was about 5, and then we moved to Tennessee. My dad was military. I was an Army brat.
Yep.
Till probably, I don't know, 8. And then we moved out to Colorado for a couple of years, and then we moved back here when I was 11. Being that I'm 45, I've lived here most of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to think that I've lived other places, at least to some degree.
Okay, well, that's cool. What part of Colorado was it?
Colorado Springs.
Yeah, beautiful area. I got really, when we went out there for my nephew's wedding, all of us that are with the flatlanders or lowlanders, because we're by the water table, we were getting sick. We didn't feel good. And you could have a beer and just get completely annihilated, drunk because of your air, you're not used to breathing at that altitude. So we had to have Alka-Seltzers, and it's the only thing that stabilized your blood to get to the point where you weren't feeling like you were hungover constantly, But, okay, let me ask you this. Okay, Carl asked a question before we start everything. Carl's kind of got, he's got a little bit of an in here. Question: what are those cool machines behind Damion? Are we going to go right into that? Let's go right into that, I guess.
Let's go right into it.
Okay.
Those are my 3D printers. 3D resin, UV resin. That's where I make my cool toys. It's where all of the O Toys magic happens.
Yes. In fact, let me throw that website up since we're talking about it. I think that's the right one. There you go.
ruomniversal.com.
Yep. And yeah, tell them all about. Let's start out with that. I want people to know who you are, though. We can start out with that if you want, or I'd like to find out a little bit about like your first job, your high school, that kind of stuff. But we can always talk about that in a minute. So let's go ahead and tell them where you're at right now, and then we'll go back to the beginning.
So I'm an artist. I do comics.
Very good artist, by the way.
Since I was 3, I've been drawing. And so I've been making comics for years. With my Realm Rex character, I've been doing it for about 25 years. I say that. Been a lot of stops and starts, getting it right, experimental stuff. Pre-internet. So I learned everything myself. Like I went to the library, read books, learned all that.
Mm-hmm.
But during COVID, I was on furlough for my job. I worked at FedEx office, and I was on furlough. And I had, I have psoriasis, so they weren't sure if I could go out or if I could, what I could do. So long and short was I had to find something to do with my time, and I learned how to 3D model. I wanted an action figure of my character. Like that's how it started. And I looked around, and the cheapest ones I could find were really nice 18, 20 points of articulation, $300 action figures
per action
for
figure, right?
And so
God,
I
jeez.
laughed and snorted. That's how ridiculous it felt. It was like, no.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it. I can see it being as a collector piece or something for you as a nod to what you've accomplished, but wow, not for the public. I mean, maybe. But
No, and not for something that any sort of like, production like that's
mass production, yeah.
yeah. And don't get me wrong, people that can do that, they're really good artists, they're really good crafters.
Mhm.
They can take your image and completely recreate it in that format. But I had to get something easier. Like I had to get something cheaper. I had to get something that was, and by cheaper I mean less expensive. Like I want it to be good. I want it to be solid, a really nice piece.
But you want it to be feasible. You want it to be something where people can actually, produce something. I don't know what Eric's talking about, but we'll get back.
That's the brand.
Okay, got it.
The Elegumars.
Sorry.
The red one is the original, and then the green one is the Elegumars 2.
Awesome. Okay.
I have another one that's a little out of commission. I got to fix it up.
Way above my pay grade, but continue. I apologize. I digress. So
basically, long and short was I try to cut to the chase. Here's what I do. I'll talk, like kind of ramble a bit, and then I'll go long and short, or short, long story short. No, it's never short, and I apologize in advance. But anyway, I had some 3D modeling experience. I'm a graphic designer on top of being an artist. I've been drawing since I was 3.
Mm-hmm.
I got my graphic design degree in like 2013, 14, and been sort of putting the two together and using it, with making my website and making my comics. And I was like, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn how to 3D model, because everything that I saw about action figure making it's
the future. It absolutely is the future, no matter what. Yeah.
It was make your own, DIY, completely good stuff. But what I found is that a lot of people a lot of indie comic creators don't have that, like me, don't have that representation where they can just drop 15, 20 grand to make a thing and send it over to Japan and get 20,000 back. And some people can do that, and that's great. And there's a friend of mine that's done that, and I'm definitely going to buy his figures when they come out.
Sure.
But that's what I realized. For me, I could spend the same amount of money on one figure and make as many as I wanted. And that's where it started. And
it's in-house, and you have control over it, and you can alter it, and it's made in the USA. And there's a lot of really cool marketing sides of that, And
I'm a crafter. I realize that even with when I'm making comics or doing illustration, I treat it as a craft. I don't treat it as it's a skilled craft to me, like a plumber or a tradesman. Like that's what I see it as is it's something that I do and granted there's the artistic side.
Well, it's a medium. I mean, it doesn't matter whether we draw like watercolors. For me, it's the same thing. You're just doing it with different tools. I mean, it's the same medium. It's a different medium, but you're still expressing yourself, and you're producing a product that it's in the world now. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, really. So,
so I made a figure, and I loved it. I made like 30 of them, and I gave them all away. And I realized that I'm not going to be able to make any money doing that, or a living, or anything, because I'm on furlough, and I need to find some way to make some money. And I thought, well, let me see, what other people would be interested in this, and I kind of put that on the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kenny Aiken, with his Apex Cybernetic Samurai Owl, I got a Kickstarter that I'd funded, and the books are great. He's a great artist. It's a really neat concept, and the character looks really neat. And I thought, let me try to model that. Let me see what I can do with that. And it was really just for fun. Like, as a fan, I'm going to model this and see how this looks. And if you want to throw that up.
Yeah, well, throw it up. Don't throw it up. We've got a ton of comments coming in. We're going to go back to. We'll go back to some of the comments because they're really good. All right, so you guys check this out.
So this is the card art that he ended up giving me. I started out, like I said, I started out as a fan, showed him what I made. He loved it. I said, hey, let's try this out. You're doing another Kickstarter. Let me make some of these for you. Just gave them to him and said, let's see how people react. And people went nuts.
Sure.
and loved them. And I was like, yay. People like what I do, which at the end of the day, for me, that really is what it is. Like, I just want people to be happy with what I'm doing so they can enjoy it. Like, that makes me happy. So here's I don't know if I can zoom in on that at all, but that's the 3D model for the Apex figure. And you can see where it will give you layers on there. So there's
How many hours did you have on the total? I mean, it's an extreme figure. I mean, coming out of the gate and doing that is like, that's pretty stellar. I don't know if many people could do that.
Probably about 2 days, like 48 hours of modeling.
God.
Which over about a week. I've gotten much better at it now.
Yeah. I'll tell you from personal experience you have. Yeah. You've gotten much better at what you're doing. So
this is something that I thought of. I make the packaging, I make the card art, I make the pack. Well, I don't either. I make the card art or people give me card art. I actually prefer if they give it to me. I put it all together, but I want it to be as representative of the creator as possible. Like,
right. Because let's talk too. I know that the next one, Brian Rodman, all you got to say is Brian Rodman. That completely sold me on it. So go ahead. Talk about
actually
him.
Jump to his if you don't mind.
Okay. Because we got most of the people here in the Rising Tide network, I figured, full disclosure. I mean, Brian, you hit this out of the park. And this was one of the buy-ins for Brian's campaign for the nebulizer. And it was awesome. Really, really good.
There we go. Maybe that'll help a little. Some of the 3D modeling process for it.
Yeah.
There's the actual backpack. I had to modify his.
It's so cool. That's so cool, and it's so true to for what I've seen of the art from the book. Minor of what I've seen. I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but man, that's so cool.
The backpack itself took probably about 10 hours. Wow! Because I had to figure out a way. If you look like at the edges of the pack itself.
Yeah.
Through that piece of tubing, there's a break, and that's where the arms. Because what I do is I'll model the figure, and then I find the breaks for the articulation, then put the figure together. And he approved that. Like, I made sure, because I was like, I don't know how I want him to be happy. I want him to think, are other people going to be happy? And he was happy with it, and I was happy with it. After they were painted, they looked great. They looked great unpainted. I have one sitting around here somewhere. But that's why I sound tinny. I'm not even near my microphone. I apologize.
It's okay.
But that's the final product in the can. And with his, we did a little special thing where we put a nebulizer sticker.
Yeah.
In each one.
Great marketing. Yep. Great marketing.
And
the thing I like about it too is you can take the figure out of the packaging without destroying the packaging. You've got it so that it's, it's a collector's piece. It's not, you can. It's not for a kid. I suppose. I guess you could have a kid play with it if you want, but
one day, let's hopefully have all the kids playing with all the indie comic.
Well, right, and that's it. And again, having, I know it's durable enough, but it's just nice to have something that you could actually, this came from my mind. Look what we've brought into the world. Literally, it's your child. In some respects, I mean, you're building something it's crazy. Really, when you really think about it, the world that we are gods. You know what I mean? It's crazy what we can create here. It's nuts. Go ahead.
Excuse me. To the packaging. I'm a creator and I'm a collector, and I wanted the two to meet, and it's hard for them to meet. I collect Funko Pops, as you can plainly see.
Well, you're going to be donating a few of those to the Davies household, I think. That's what Christine said.
We can fight that out. We can box. From my cold dead hand.
Yeah. Right. Here, Eric asked what kind of software you're using, just in passing, just so we.
Oh, I use a combination of things. I do ZBrush for bodies, for basic layout of the figure, and then I'll do for real tight, specific, like eyes, faces, things like that. Like on Luke Stone's Hybrids of the Gods.
Yes, another great one. Yep.
It really needed high articulation of the face.
That was Trashman, right? Trashman, the figure.
Let me pull it up.
It was very successful. I mean, that was a huge thing. When he brought that, that's the first time I saw it. First time I've seen anything like that. And then Brian, stamped of approval on. I'm like, I got to talk to this Damion guy. So
Brian will never admit it, but he is genuinely one of the best people I've ever met. And he thinks people don't know who he is, but people know who he is.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But like right here, you can see where the
God, that's a ton of work
in
man.
there, and I realized I'm still drinking coffee. There was no free coffee. I was upset. There was no coffee waiting for me.
I will. You get me that address. You're going to get some free coffee.
I was going to see if you wanted to trade something.
Yeah, we'll talk off camera.
He has the hair piece to the side, and he's got like the eyes and the eyebrows. He's a very specific look to his face. So I had to get in there with Sculptress, which is a free program that ZBrush made, and it is now part of ZBrush. Mm-hmm. But they have a separate, and it's never going to be updated, but it's as perfect as it possibly can be.
Got it.
So you can do a lot of fine detail work in there. So sometimes I'll do the two, and then I'll usually cut and construct my pieces in 3D Builder.
Right. Well, these are actuated too. The ones that you did for Brian and Luke are actuated, so they actually move. They've got articulation to them.
Everything we've done so far have 4 points of articulation with the head, arms, and waists.
Yeah.
I'm working on legs.
Yeah. Well, that's, it's a major thing, man. This is, I'm laughing at some of the comment, not you. I'm not.
I did too. I looked over at
I'm
Glenn.
like, Glenn, listen, Glenn, you live across, and welcome, by the way, welcome from the UK. We're international now, literally international, so worldwide. It's a little hard to get coffee your way, okay, from the States right now. Just bear with me. Okay, go ahead, Damion. Sorry.
But those are the programs I use. I try to keep it simple, and it's right now I'm working with a Pagan socket system.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be moving into a actual full body piece articulated joint thing. Okay. Not a rounded joint, but I try to stick with like the Star Wars style, the Super 7 style.
Right.
At 3 3/4 inch.
Right. Right. And that's dynamite. That's a perfect, that's really, I think that is, and then you can always offer a special, larger figure or whatever. I know Eric's been talking about this Eric's really, I think his characters will really lend to a modeling. I know that he probably wants to, because he's like me. He does everything. He wants to do everything himself, but he's very much like me, I'm sure.
I totally understand. That's how I got it. His
characters, I don't know if you've seen the Zombie World of Oz, but incredible. The Tin Man alone, I would buy that figure in a heartbeat. The Tin Man alone would just be incredible to see. Okay, enough talking about your stuff, Eric. Okay, go back, Damion. Sorry.
That's it. That's what I use, and I find myself when I'm creating something like a toy, I'm a creator, I'm a collector, and I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I want those three things to sort of synergize. I hate that word, but I'm going to use it. I want those three things to synergize together because, when you have an action figure, you've either got to destroy the package to play with it or look at it, even if you just want to see certain aspects of it, or you've got to some way permanently change the situation of the item to, display it or whatever. So we have our packages open. They're like a collector case style package. So you just pop it open, take it out, put it on your shelf, play with it. The package stays intact. You just literally close it back, open it up. I don't do any sort of taping or anything to it. So there's no, it's as fresh if you open it once as it is if you open it 20 times.
Yeah.
The figures themselves all stand. That is a requirement. They will stand on their own.
I asked you, do they come with stands or is it, yeah. And that's what they did with remember the old Star Wars? They had the holes in the feet so they could stick into a peg system onto a floor or something. But yours are a little different. Does it come with a stand or how?
They don't, but I part of the actual production process is checking the weight and balance of it. So they will stand on their feet by themselves without any, they have small feet. So if you walk over and knock them over, they're going to fall down.
Well, right.
But you can put it on the shelf and next to your other figures, and they're going to stand there.
Yeah.
They're not going to fall. They're not going to be weighted one way too much or the other.
Right.
Even Nebulizer with the backpack, like I made a point of printing it, and then it was back heavy.
Yeah.
So I printed it at a slightly different angle, changed like the position of the figure a bit, and so it stands perfectly straight up.
We got another question from Carl. Can you do figures from photos? I really am thinking about a Kickstarter for the Uncle Carl's figures. We do a green room on a Friday night, and it's kind of a little bit of a mayhem. It's controlled mayhem, but it's, people come in. It's basically fedora off. It's having a drink and just everybody talking about the week, and but there's certain characters, like they call me Green Room Ted. There's a lot of characters that Carl wants, maybe marketing wise, to put together. Do you work with photographs, or would it be easier to characterize a series like that?
I can work from photographs. It's I usually try to get turnarounds of everything that I'm
right. I don't know if you can see this or not. The Mad Gasser. Can you see this?
Yes.
Pretty easy character, I would think, to draw. And Eric Hawkins actually did the artwork for this. And this is a book by Carl. It's the Mad Gasser cheerleader from Calhoun County. And he was asking about that because I think that this would be a dynamite figure to go with the book. You probably sell a lot more books, Carl, if you did that. I'm just saying. And I'm sure Damion can hook you up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, of course, Eric's got to jump in because it's his work. It is. He did a great job on that one. But, okay. I don't mean to keep interrupting you. What kind of lead times are we talking? All right, so if people end up deciding that they want to invest, because it isn't free, guys. I mean, he deserves every penny that he's getting, and he's very economical. But there's a lot of work that goes into this. I mean, it's not something that it's just a flash in the pan. He just throws it together, and the software produces it. There's a lot of engineering that goes into this, and so lead times. What kind of lead times first are we talking?
Depending on the simplicity of the character, I usually like a 2-month lead time from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I do have contracts set up. They're real basic. They're not super hard. And they can all be modified. There's just basic things I want to make sure T's are crossed, I's are dotted. Beyond that, I like a 2-month lead time because that way the creator has more hand in it and has more ability to say yay or nay to whatever modeling choices I've made. Or if we need to, let's say they've decided they're doing an earlier version of the character or later version, there's modifications, or we can do multiple pieces. I don't want to say anything, but there's a person that I just was talking to this weekend, and they want certain hand shapes. Okay. And I said, well, why don't we just do multiple hands?
Makes total sense. They can just change them out. Yeah.
I'm working on higher articulation points too. Nothing too fancy, just like wrist turns, things like that.
Right.
Yeah. If you want to put a gun in their hand and they need to hold it like that, or
right.
Like whatever,
right.
Or a sword.
And that could lend itself to multiple different, literally different action poses that you could have for the same character that would be good for marketing, for different, if you have like a multiple way of action poses for one character versus they're all articulated, you know what I mean? You could actually have how they do that where they look like a bust or whatever. They just do it in a certain, but that could be marketing wise to collect for certain characters. That might be good. I don't know. I'm just talking, just throwing it out.
No, absolutely. And it gives it a little more shelf life, no pun intended.
Yeah, right.
Because if you have a figure that you've come out with,
right,
and we've thought ahead to those points.
Yeah.
And if they have a like I said, a sword or something, like the sword hand, I thought it was just a hand with a sword.
Yeah.
And the peg, and it would slide in, and then it would turn. I thought of some cool poses, but I don't want to go into too much.
What kind of? Let's talk about materials. What is the resin? I know that some resins are pretty brittle. So what do you do? Do you do something proprietary that you use for yourself?
I do. I use a combination of resins for toughness and durability.
Okay.
The tougher the resin, the more brittle it is, which sounds weird, but unfortunately UV resin. So it's basically little particles just, marrying together.
Right.
So I just experimented a little and found the right amount of a durability resin, which you could take these and drop them and they're fine.
Yeah.
If you did just straight like a UV washable resin, even the brand, if I use the brand resin, if I throw it in the air, it's going to hit the ground and crack. And
right.
So I found the right mix to create a toy that's has more of a plastic consistency to its makeup.
Okay, so that's something else too, guys, marketing wise, when you're looking at different, and keep that in mind because this is something that, like I said, it's not a flash in the pan. Damien's really done a lot of research and a lot of things, and there's things that I know that you need to keep proprietary wise, under the down low, just because it's your own market. But with that, I think that there's a huge amount of growth, and it's not just action figures. There's a lot of things. I mean, have you thought about doing like HeroClix size miniatures for board games, for RPGs? I mean, that's what I would like to do. I'd like to do a multitude of different products, my characters. I think that would just a great idea. All paintable. I mean, you don't offer painting service. These come resined. They're just
We do offer
they're
painting
unpainted.
service. The big problem with the painting service is that it is a non-negotiable price. Everything else I can finagle a little bit to make it cost effective. The painting is a set
Sure.
$10 to $15 depending on how many colors
Right.
per unit, and
Right.
so it's a little pricey. But we do offer it. If anybody doesn't want to mess with it, we can do it. My wife does the painting, and
Awesome.
she's great. She's amazing at it. I could draw you anything you want, but I can't paint to save my life. And
Well, details and God's in the detail, right? So,
right? Yeah.
Speaking of which, detail wise, if you guys like what you're watching here, please like and subscribe and share this out. That would be really helpful for me
Do it.
and for Damien. Thank you.
Share it now. Do it.
Okay, so let's rewind a bit. Let's take a break from the action figures and everything for a second. We'll go through what I want to talk about. The big reveal that we're going to have, because I think we'll probably end up doing it just because proof's in the pudding. Later at the end of the show, if that's okay with you.
Yeah,
You're okay with it? Okay, cool. So tell me about. Okay, so let's rewind. So what was your first job? What happened when you were
Pizza Hut.
What's that? Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut.
Okay, cool. How old were you?
I was 16. I started on a Monday afternoon.
That's the end of your childhood.
Yeah,
Right, that was it.
The head cook. Actually, the end of my childhood was 2 weeks later when the head cook quit, and I was the only cook for Pizza Hut.
Oh my God.
On all.
in Louisville.
Louisville.
Where? Oh.
In Louisville. Which while yes, we're in Kentucky.
Louisville's a big place though.
It's a big city. It's bigger than the capital. It
is. Right.
It's the biggest city in the state. So it's we're the biggest city in the state. Sorry. Everybody's got their southern hick voice. If you live in Louisville at all for any length of time,
you're just south of Ohio though. It's not like.
Well, we're Midwestern suddenly. Like we were Southern for years, and then when Southern stopped being cool to be, well, you know what I mean. We won't go into that. It's like we're Midwestern. We're Midwestern. We swear.
You're just crossing over a river. I mean, Willow says that her first job in Canada, surprisingly, was Pizza Hut. I didn't know that they had Pizza Hut in Canada, but I never saw a Pizza Hut in Canada. I've toured all over Canada, never saw Pizza Hut. That's interesting.
Random fact for the day: Kmart is the largest store in Australia.
Yes, and a fact of the day too. Kmart's headquarters were in Detroit. I don't know if they're there anymore, but it was quite an epicenter for. Yeah, it was crazy growing up in that area. But okay, so after Pizza Hut, after you became a gourmet deep disher, what was next? What happened?
I got into a car accident. Actually, it was I would have to say that moment sort of defined my future.
Okay,
because I was in a car with some friends, and one of the friends decided to drive on a very windy road in a very bad way, and hit a 50-year-old oak tree.
Wow!
So the oak tree was fine.
Okay.
I was not. I broke my right arm in 2 places.
Okay.
And it was right at the end of high school, my senior year. I was getting ready to go to Savannah College of Art and Design for their comic course, and couldn't finish my portfolio. And they were very strict and said, "Well, we're sorry, we can't take you." So, and that moment really defined my life. Drawing and creating is not just something I like to do. It's part of who I am.
It's air that I breathe, man.
Exactly.
If you can say it's who you are, it is. It's your makeup. It's exactly who you are.
I thought about cleaning up and making this look nice, and I thought, no, people need to see.
That's good. No, I mean, that's lit. You know what? That's true to, there's certain things that I'll do, just from broadcasting and stuff. But yeah, the rest, anybody sees me when we're like, when we're not on air and stuff, I've got my drawing desk, got paint all over the place. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. So how bad was the break? I mean, did you have, was there a lot of physical therapy to it, or was it just the cast, or what?
Not really. It broke in two places. Like basically, here's the bone, and it went like a wedge got taken out.
Damn.
It hit a dashboard, and it literally just went pop and knocked a section straight out.
Wow. Nobody was drinking, driving. Though it wasn't like that kind of thing. It was
no,
just kids
it was
dogging around. Yeah.
Somebody was just dumb.
Okay. Well, I mean, we've all been there. It's
young
just
guys.
Some of us haven't hit a tree. I mean, we were all stupid at one time.
Car was fine.
Yeah.
Everybody was fine except for me.
But you broke your arm.
Yeah. And the first words I asked when I got, the weirdest part was the house across the street from the tree. Mm-hmm. A doctor lived there, and they rushed out and saw what happened. They were like, "Is everybody okay?" I'm like,
my arm's killing me. Yeah, right.
My elbow is like this, and my arm's out here. I'm going, "Yeah, I'm fine. What's going on?"
It wasn't a compound fracture, right? There wasn't like bones sticking out and all that.
No,
stuff.
no.
Oh,
all
God.
contained. I'm a chunky lad. So it just popped that bone out, and everything else held it in place. Like it didn't even when I moved my arm just kind of wiggled.
Oh man, that's hurt. I hope to God that doesn't stick as your nickname now, Damion. God, all right,
chunky lad.
Wow,
we'll wear it on a shirt.
That's a comic book in the making, right there, bro.
Chunky lad.
Dun,
Isn't that Bouncing Boy? Isn't he chunky lad?
I'm not sure. Eric says he feels out of place because he worked at Hardee's. Well,
I liked going to Hardee's. Speaking of being a chocolate lad, I enjoyed Hardee's. There's no Hardee's in Louisville anymore.
My first job, I was a caddy. I worked at a real high-end golf course in Detroit, and I met a lot of like major people, and it was miserable. There's a couple of people that were nice, but it was, and thinking about drawing all day as I'm walking, carrying these bags, 14 years old, feet are soaking wet from the grass, it was miserable. Anyway, okay, back to you. So you healed up. What's that?
I healed up, but in that time frame, I was kicked out of school. I was kicked out of high school for missing days. It didn't like I went to the school board and everything. I was like,
wow.
Hey, like in a literally 10, 15 pound cast. I'm walking there like this saying, can I please come back to school? And they're like, no.
Who is like running? I mean, what kind of Nazis ran your school? That's terrible. Good morning, Keisha.
No, I'm joking. It was just a horrible time for the school system. And
God,
it was
sounds like it.
It got bigger, and they ran it with an iron fist. And if they liked you, you were good, and if they didn't like you, they didn't.
So how did that? I mean, that could have really caused your parents a lot of crap because you're, in Michigan, they don't mess around. If you're not in school, a lot of parents get in trouble.
Well, I
charged,
That was the big. I think that was the big part. Was this was November. I turned 18 in October, and because I started school late because my birthday's later in the year.
Yeah.
So I turned 18 my senior year. They said, "Oh, he's 18. We can get rid of him," and so they just literally did that. Nothing. Sorry.
Wow.
They tossed me out.
All right. So what happened? Okay. So let's get some sunshine here. What happened then that shifted? Did you go to college? You obviously have a degree. You went to school. You met the love of your life at a certain point too, right? So
yeah, I met a good group of friends. I had a very good group of friends that believed in what I could do, that helped me, pulled me out of that. It was a dark place.
I'm sure it was.
And helped pull me out of that and help build me up as a person. Like, we like you. Let's just be. And it was losing that chance to go to college for the thing that I'd been wanting to do most of my life that made me say, I have to do this now.
Yeah.
And considering the time frame, it was right around like a lot of younger people, even younger than me at the time, were doing indie comics.
Yeah. And what year was this, by the way? 2000.
97.
Yeah. So it was like pretty fresh. It was
Yeah.
like, I remember that whole, and it was still kind of, pioneer. I mean,
Mhm.
pioneering at that time.
There was an internet. But
Right.
there
You got
wasn't enough.
email, and then, the
Yeah,
site kind of sucked, but yeah,
there wasn't a lot of intercommunication at that point.
we didn't even have
Between,
cell phones. I mean, at that time, I mean, it was for
yeah,
at
I
least,
mean,
2005, 2004 for me, but yeah.
my biggest, I'm ashamed to admit it, and I've since returned a copy of it to the library. I swiped a copy of Will Eisner, Comics and Sequential
Sure.
Art from
Sure.
the library.
What a great book, man. Will was just, he's stellar. It's like Jack Kirby, is this Jack Kirby, Will Eisner? I mean, it's on and straight up.
I just immersed myself in it, and everything from this sounds horrible when in retrospect, but at the time, Wizard Magazine was a pretty good place to go for comics news.
Sure.
In '97, and so like I'm just immersed myself in everything, and in the comics I loved, and in I was always a reader, so all the
Sure.
novels,
Yep.
music is a big thing for me, and so I got a job, worked my job, moved out of my parents' house, started working on comics, started working
Okay.
on my character Romer X,
Mm-hmm.
and just tried to live life and do that at the same time. With little did I know, I'm ADHD. I also had massive depression and
Mhm.
anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and
Anxiety's the curse. Let me tell you, it's terrible. I'm with you on that.
I didn't know. I thought it was normal.
Right. I did too. I did too for years, man.
Spend 48 hours in a brain fog drawing.
Yeah.
Literally, like to the point where I'm like, I started smoking because not that I'm smoking,
Well,
I started smoking.
I enjoy
Just
good cigars, so yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and pipe, cigars, things like that, even cigarettes. I mean, it's your choice. You do what you want with your life.
Right.
For me personally, I'm an overweight man. I chose one thing. I shouldn't have had two. So
Okay.
What am I going to do? Hide it? I mean, I can put a bag over my head and pretend I'm skinny. But I don't. I mean, I'm just self-deprecating. I'm doing a lot to lose weight. That's not the point. But yeah, I started smoking, so I could literally do 24-hour jags of just drinking bottles of Coke.
Sure. Well, putting your body through it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I mean, we all did the coffee. I mean, staying up late drawing is coffee. I understand that, or that kind of sugaring it up. At the time, I think we had Jolt was the big thing when I was college. It was a heart attack waiting to happen. If we had Red Bull, I would probably be dead by now. I mean, just because people would have been popping Red Bulls like crazy drawing. But
I'd probably been doing Adderall.
I mean, and I've seen some really bad cases of Adderall use on people that didn't need it. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous. Even at work, it probably could have. If I can interrupt for a second, anxiety is a kind of a, this is why I think God's got a good sense of humor sometimes, because he gives you all this talent. He gives you talents to do all these different things in life. But by the way, as a creative, if you take this path, I'm going to give you anxiety or depression. That's the rub of it. You're going to have to deal with this, even though you're brilliant and you can draw and you can write or whatever and create and make other people happy. But here's the rub. You're going to be stressed out to the max. You're going to make ridiculous things out of nothing. And it's, that's what we do. And it's, our job now is to help other people, let them know that, you're not crazy. And we all go through it. A lot of us go through it, not all of us, but I'm with you. So I get it.
I was 36 before I started taking medication, and not because I didn't want to, but just I found something that worked.
Right.
My anxiety, I could catch my breath and be, consciously aware.
Christine's deals with a lot with that, just my overthinking, my analyzing, everything like that. But the anxiety part of it, and she's leveled off. She's taught me just how to, with the God love her, because she hasn't hit me with a hammer yet. But there's a certain amount of tact to it as a spouse of somebody that's got anxiety. If anybody's listening, you guys understand. If you have the right support system, you can get through it. and that's a huge part of Rising Tide. I know whether you're in marriage or whether you're in Rising Tide Broadcast Network, it's all Rising Tide. You're trying to help, and it's not easy. It's not easy. So I get it, Damion. Keep going. I'm sorry. Again, digress.
That I'd kind of come to a stopping point anyway.
Have you noticed the triggers? I know what sets me off as far as, as I'm getting older now, it's not running across my lawn or anything like that. There's other things like, oh God, this person hasn't gotten back to me yet. This isn't happening. This, do you find triggers that have changed now versus when you were younger as a creative that set you into not panic, but,
The biggest problem I had was not finishing things. I could start 1,000 things, but I couldn't finish.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I still have the problem with that. I still deal with that, as a creative. Yeah.
I've gotten that to a point now where I make it work for me. So when I start to feel that, like I'm getting bored with what I'm doing, I have to start something new. I have, and I was actually talking to my wife last night about it. She's an amazing help with all of this. We talked about a variable schedule. So if I'm working on my comic and I'm at a frustrating point and I just want to quit. I just want to quit the whole thing. Move to like modeling, move to the toy, move
something
to
completely different. Yeah.
I make music too. So I do move to that. Have these other outlets, but focus that goal. The goal is to produce, married content. And I do toy work for other people. That's not to say, but I also do stuff like my Realmer figure and stuff like that.
Right.
So sort of bring all that to that same point of when the comic will accompany the music, will accompany the comic, will accompany the toy, will all sort of work together. And so when I get those triggers, I can direct them with with that part of it. Anxiety more than anything else is external. Like when other people come to me and go, where are we? What's the deadline?
Yeah, right.
That's when I feel those triggers. And it's not even their fault. Like they really need the information. It's nothing they're doing. It's just, and with my wife specifically, she'll be like,
yeah, right. That's what Chris does too.
I'm here with you.
Yeah. She's like, okay, listen, dumbass, this is the thing. You don't do that to yourself.
And my wife does it too, but I didn't.
And then don't do it to me. Because she says, when you act like this, it sets me off. Gets the dog upset. It's nobody wins, right?
When I do go out, the cats will, like if we're having an argument and it's something like that, we have 4 cats. Our cats will surround us. Yeah. And come in and sit down on the bed and just like try to get our attention, like shut up, like stop fighting.
Right. Right.
Just quit it.
Yep.
So yeah, I totally get that.
Yep. And we're lucky to have them because it's such a weird, I never noticed it before, but I noticed, especially with Calypso, on how, if we're having a discussion or a disagreement, if you want to call it that, I'm wrong all the time, but disagreement, you can definitely tell how it affects Calypso, just how things, and not in a bad way. She's not like barking or anything like that. It was just, you can just tell, she'll sit around me or she'll sit around Chris or whatever. I'm sure your cats are like that too. And it's funny how they get us through a lot of that type of stuff.
And don't get me wrong, they're cats, so they do go from "we love you" to "we will eat you."
We will eat you if you sit still long enough. Yeah,
3 days of you dead, and we're snacking on your toes. Like they're on board.
Where do you?
We've Willard. You wouldn't do that. Sorry.
No. How old are the? What are the ages? Like young to old, or are they all the same age?
4 to 2, between 4 and 2 years.
Okay, those are good ages. That's good. What is the What's the goal for all of this as far as what direction do you have for O-Toys and your writing and everything? I know we talked about collaborating a few things, but what's going to be the overall, because you write, you draw, where do you see, Damion's work? What do you think is going to be your niche?
So when I was about 14, and I admit I'm a spiritual person. I'm a Christian. I don't impose my will on anyone or my beliefs. So anyway,
that's the truest form right there. That's all you can do. That's the truest form. So I appreciate that.
I think the most, and not even to get political, most American and the most Christian thing I can do is to let people live their life how they want to live it.
Yeah.
Like anything other than that is not any of those tenets, much less
Yeah.
anything else.
Unless they're hurting kids, then I have an issue with it.
Oh,
But
no,
besides
no,
that,
there's
that,
social mores
yeah,
apply.
yep,
to
right,
that.
right,
Don't hurt animals, don't hurt children. And
right. I
as long
I
as
think
everyone's
legally
consenting.
we should be able to tase one person a month. I've talked about that. We're lobbying for that now, but I don't think it's gonna.
I'd be
I don't
down.
think it's gonna take, but we'll try. We'll try. Sorry.
I realized two things very early on in my life, and one of them is I like the idea of service.
Mhm.
Like I like the idea of not to such a degree that it goes into slavery, and I use that very loosely.
Or servitude. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Much better word.
Mhm.
I'm not a writer. I'm a plotter. So, if I
Gotcha.
use the wrong terminology, please feel free to correct me. But I want to help people, and I want to help them however I can with happy, produce something that makes them happy or entertains them or something.
Mhm.
But I also think that life is good. I think that life can be hard. Life can be painful.
Yep.
Painful things can happen. But I think that overall, and this may sound very naive of me, that people are mostly good and life is mostly good.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I wanted to make, with Realmer, I wanted to make a character. His name's Jared, which I named my son Jared as well.
Mhm.
I wanted to make a character that could find that out. Could find that life is good, especially in comics, because it lends itself to somewhere between like a pulp sci-fi thing and maybe a little bit of superhero thing, the story that I do. But I wanted that to be the thrust of the underlying thought of everything.
Right. The direction of it.
Yeah. And I created the character when I was like 16, 17, when I realized at some point I'm gonna have to go out in the world and live my life and be an adult. And it scared the crap out of me. Not being an adult so much, not even being on my own, just the idea, the scope of what that could be was daunting.
Sure it is.
And I saw other people's minds, like their world around them as their own universe. Everyone sort of lives in their own universe. Well, to personify that, I took that idea and personified it in my story. And I created something called the Omniverse. And it's well
done, by the way. I've read it. I'm beautiful. I mean, really.
25 years of trying, it better be good. Seriously.
It's very good.
But that's what I want to do. And I feel like connecting with people is like the best way to not only learn, but to grow. And then finding a way to support that connection. And so I took all that. And so, I took all that and put it into the basis of even the science fiction and, the elements of the story itself. And so the story acts as this way of saying, we can, if we try to hear each other out and try to make the world's a better place, then life can be good and life can be, we can be happy. Very, very naive in these days, but I mean, I still feel like it's true. So
I would rather be naive and hopeful than, I don't think that that's a bad thing. I wouldn't call it naive. I think I would call it hopeful. And, there's a reason why you have faith, right? No matter what your, whatever it is, whatever your denomination, there's a reason you need faith. I think we need to be able to get through it, whether it's spirituality like me or whether it's Christianity for you, whatever. We have to have a certain amount of faith. And if that gets you through the day and it helps somebody else in the interim, that's great, So what do you see that as far as how many books do you have out now with that? You had 2 that you showed me?
I've got 3 technically. I've got Omniversal, which is going to be other people's stories about my character. In that, right now, I've got one by Nigel Flood and one by Ronnie Jean Antonet. I had to practice that with a name like Waldbrunn.
That's quite a name, yeah.
And so, 2 other stories from other people. One's a 2-parter that the second part's going to be in the next issue. The other one was published earlier this year in the Ninja High School Indie Wars crossover. And then I have Omniversal Crossworlds, which is a crossover book that I'm doing with other independent creators. I'm writing and drawing it. They've basically given me their characters and said, here, do this.
Okay,
And,
cool.
I had a really cool idea for a crossover where, because my character, the biggest problem with crossovers is everyone wants equal time and they want to
Sure,
be
sure. It's not realistic, but yeah.
Yeah, and it tends to kill indie crossovers. And so my thought was, well, what if the main character, somehow the main character or the lead character, whatever, is out of the story? Like, what if something in the story takes him out? What has to happen to make the rest of the story happen? And so that's what I did. And so it's helping highlight the other creators, at the same time furthering the overall story of like Realmer X.
Okay.
It's fun. I really enjoy it. The third book
it's deep too. There's a lot of ways that can go. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. And there's so many ways to tell and so many types of comic stories you can tell. That's another thing with Realmer I want to do is I want to tell every type of story.
Yeah.
I want to tell fun adventure stories. I want to tell deep, emotional stories, maybe spiritual stories, things like that. But the third book is the Realmer X Omnibus, because it's been literally 25 years as of June that I've been working with this character and producing.
That's amazing. Wow.
And I've put everything. Now, when I say everything, not everything I've made, everything that is even remotely passable for human consumption. Because I made tons of mini comics and stopped, again, the anxiety, stopping and starting and stopping.
Sure.
Full-size comics, mini comics, late night Kinko's runs where we make,
ash cans or whatever. Yeah. Just trying to get it.
Yeah. And actually the first 8 pages is the first ash can I ever did. And it's
awesome. That's awesome.
It's fun. Those are coming with dust jackets that it's a soft cover book, but making multiple copies of a 170-page book.
Is this on Kickstarter or what is it?
I had it on Indiegogo.
Okay.
About a month ago at this point.
Okay.
And we did relatively well. A good friend of mine, Chris Yambar, passed away back in May.
Sorry.
And thank you. He has a scholarship fund for Youngstown State University and in his name. And I was like, I've got to do something. I don't. And I'm as far as I am personally employed, I am not publicly employed, shall we say. I don't have a day job right now. I will hopefully shortly, but just the economy being what it is and where I'm at.
Sure.
But because of that, I was like, I don't have money to contribute to this. Let's do a Kickstarter. What can I do? Okay, let me do this.
What you can produce. Yeah.
And Indiegogo.
That's great. Yeah.
It was just going to be digital. And then like a bunch of people were like, no, we want like a physical copy.
Book. Yeah. Good.
I said, it's 170 pages. Are you sure you want? They said yes.
I mean, it's an opus. I mean, it's an omnibus. I mean, it's huge.
It's everything I've done up to this point that has been in the public eye in any way, shape, or form. And,
hardback or was it paperback or what was it?
It's softbacked because I want to do a sketch on the cover.
Got it.
A sketch cover and then a dust jacket. Yeah. So everyone will have a personalized cover under the dust jacket.
Wow, that's cool. That's really
and there's
cool.
like 5 different artists that did work for me for the dust jacket. Pretty nice.
I'm leaving. That's one thing with Grim 101 since we're talking about building your books and that. I extended a few more pages in there, just blanks, so that people can sketch or make notes or, there's all kinds of things I want to be able. I always liked books that had an extra page or two in there so that you could draw or take notes or have a margin that you could, apply things to. I always liked that, especially in a hardback format. I know it sounds crazy, but I think the cover though, that's a really interesting way to do that, especially with all the artists, because literally that's a variant cover. That's an independent variant cover that you'll have. Nobody else will own. That's pretty good. I'd
love to say I came up with the idea, but I kind of stole it from the Marvel and DC, all those weird alternate covers they did for a long time.
Yeah.
Or just the title. So I had like the title, and with Day One Comics, we do. I want the art to be the showcase on the front. So we just do a red bar across the top, and then Day One Comics in the title. And on the other 2 books, that's how it's laid out with nice covers. Rodney did the cover for Omniversal Crossworlds as well. So
Yeah,
his art.
yeah. Where can everybody find the work? Is it all on the website you can purchase on shop or what?
Yeah, if you go into the shop, it'll pull you up. Pardon me, it'll pull up my big cartel site,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can buy the omnibus off there. It's $40 off the website.
Mm-hmm.
You get your pick a cover, and then I usually throw like an extra couple books in there or something.
Yeah.
Whatever. I made pogs. I'll throw some pogs in there if you buy a book.
That's cool. That's cool.
In fact, I may do a. In fact, I will. I won't even say may. I'll do a discount on it. I'll put a coupon on it. So if you're watching now, I'll try to make it like Ted Davies.
Cool.
I'll put that up after the show.
Why don't you do a promo TED on it?
Better.
Large TED. Kind of like Caffeinate TED. We try to brand it that way.
Nice.
That'll help you. That way they have to use it with me. So, so how does everybody? Okay, so say that people want to do figures or get some type of resin-based action figure or anything. How does it work? How would you submit? I know you got to go to the website. You can go through and there's names. What do you do? Do you basically, because it's at your discretion. Not everybody's going to be able to do this because I know that you're only one person doing it, but you take it per project. I mean, do they have to pitch it to you or how does it work? Or just write the check?
Right now, it's a situation where it's I'm in the middle of. I've got the next month. I've got 2 cons, so I've already got like one thing in the pipe, and another thing coming right after that. So the earliest I could start taking anything for figures would probably be mid-September.
Okay.
I try to keep it one at a time, or
that's realistic.
I can do multiple figures at a time.
Sure, but it takes hours for these figures to produce. I mean, and then there's prep. There's a lot of things, right? And design, and God, I can't even imagine.
It's a month of solid work from beginning to end. But because I'm also doing comics, I'm doing some music, and I'm doing, which by the way, if you want to check out Bitgroove Music on my website.
Yeah, I'll tell you the Crux, the last one, Crux is it? CRUX, badass. I like that.
You like it? Sweet.
Oh yeah.
I'll send you the soundtrack.
I had my headphones on and I had it cranked up, and I'm like, and it came on and about blew me out of the chair, but it was awesome nonetheless. It was really good. It was really, really good. And that's cool too that you can do it because you can read the stories while you're listening to that music. And that's really important. It's important to me too, because I do that with my friend Chris Freeman. He does my intros for my books and all this other stuff, with Moses the Black, the band that he's got. And it's huge. I think that listening, it really inspires the reader, I think. It really does. So I think good kudos on you. That's really good. Good stuff.
I also do royalty-free stuff. And I do, if you need an opening for a video or a track for your whatever, I can do that too.
Awesome.
Pretty cheap. It's all digital. I try to, like I said, I come from that craftsman perspective.
Sure.
So if I do something digital, it's way cheaper.
Yeah. Well, and it's, your one-stop shop, it sounds like. But okay, so everybody understands that it does take a while to get production off the ground. Plus the detailing and depends on the intricacies of the action figure too, if you want to call it that, for the character. One of the things, can we go into the, I know we're running a little bit over the hour, but can we go into the reveal today?
Sure.
Since we're talking about it. So one of the things that Damion and I worked on, I've got a couple things going on in LA with my book Retrieve. And we're doing what they call a treatment, and I'm trying to get it set up so that we've got presentation material for not the pitch to the executives, but just putting the full gamut together of what the idea is behind Retrieve. And one of the main characters is Archimedes, and I've been talking to Chris about this for a while, my wife, and we've come up with an idea that we wanted to have a limited edition fixed product that we can show of Archimedes to give the 3D look, not just in comic book form, but actually in. Let me bring that up here. Are you bringing up the imagery?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So, I mean, I don't want to get too detailed with it, but I wanted to show people what can be done with what we're trying to accomplish with the full treatment. This is the marketing side of it. So, and I promised everybody that as I'm doing this and learning more about scripting and how its production value goes to the executives and at different movie houses, this is one of the channels. So Archimedes, the packaging, Damion took some of my artwork and then manipulated it to make it look better. And this is packaging for the product themselves, actually for the action figure.
You say that, but all I did was just add the copy to it. It's a solid.
No, you did a lot. You did a lot, and it's all in house. And that's why I said that. He's a professional. This isn't a flash in the pan deal. Damion really, he takes the time. He really does. It's been a pleasure because I think that people don't realize how much goes into it. But so we did. Damion even had the idea to do the Da Vinci. I can't think of the name of it. I studied it in college. The Da Vinci Man. The
Vitruvian Man.
Yeah, Vitruvian Man. And we were just trying to figure out the game plan. And because in the storyline, Archimedes is such a pivotal part. I won't get into the details. If you'd like to know, you can read it in the book. But there's a lot of things in this that really lent itself to the packaging to be designed like Da Vinci's one of the greatest works that he's ever done. But anyway, I don't think I did it justice, but it gives you an idea of what we're trying to do here.
Your artwork lends itself to this kind. I mean, all of your artwork lends itself to this piece lends itself to this perfectly. Like I love it. I love the way it is. I think it's perfect. It gets the idea across. Anyone that, because I obviously read your books. Mm-hmm. I love them. I think that's an excellent concept. Thanks. I'm kind of jealous.
No, don't be. You're part of it. You're part of this. Don't be.
You say that. Oh, what am I doing? You stop sharing it with me.
But I wanted to, thanks, Carl. Yeah, but I wanted to get in, show you. There it is. There it is. I'm going to bring it up full screen. So this, it doesn't look like it looks like an action figure, but Archimedes, it's not painted yet completely, but I'm going to be working on the detailing on that. But again, I wanted to have something that would be obtainable so that people, when they're looking at it, when they're really thinking about the idea, the concept, and then showing them a placement, an action figure, or a model that would not mimic the story, but just a presentation piece. And that's part of a treatment when you're trying to show the movie houses what you're trying to do. You want to show them the potential of what the market has to offer, and this is the result of that. So yeah, so we're getting now. This one's a fixed. I decided I wanted to have something, just a few of them that we had fixed that we could show as a aperture, just to show what the styling would be. This is the idea. It's eventually we're going to have actuating, and we're going to do a few different things. But I think that and that's a huge thing when you're seeing something that's actually it's one thing holding a book in your hand. Every author understands that. But when you have a product that actually is a character that's in 3D, it's quite amazing. It is a really, really amazing thing. So, and I appreciate you being able to bring that to life, Damion. So, but as far as the, so that's the reveal. We're going to be doing a few of those. Those are going to be shipped out. Well, they're going to be shipped out here. I'm going to be finishing them up. Then I've got to send them out to LA. And it's cool. So I'm looking forward to, I can't wait for the next ones that are going to be done with the full articulation. That's going to be really something else. We should probably light there you go. Yeah. And yeah, that's awesome. And that's great. So you can see how they stand. And I mean, and the other thing is too, is that you can do these in limited production, and then they're even worth more, for different things, for Kickstarter and that kind of thing for your market. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's balanced. Looks really good. I'm thinking maybe what we could do is, I might end up putting in a LED light in the eyes too. I think we'll have to figure out a way that we can make the head hollow. We'll light it up somehow.
The ROM figure?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If I did it at that size, we could totally put a light in there.
Yeah.
Like that would.
Well, I do fiber optic through the whole thing, man.
Oh, that's true.
We could do some great stuff with that. But there's all kinds of stuff. Anyway. And that's one of the other things too with Damion. He's always thinking about the manufacturing side of it. Okay, yeah, we can do this, and we can. I mean, and it's real. It's not just, okay, yeah, we could do that. And, he's actually really thinking about it. And that's what you're paying for. You're really getting an honest view, an analytical view. Yeah. And, it's keeping him sane somewhat. So you're actually doing him a favor too.
Not even somewhat. It's keeping me sane.
So, yeah, we
My
got
wife will greatly appreciate it.
Sure. Carl says that looks cool. And then Eric says, awesome. Thanks, guys. And I know that this is just the beginning. I mean, there's so many things I can see for Damion on this, not just him writing stories, but helping other people get their stories out. And, economically, I think, you guys know what I mean as far as investing with somebody like this, because Damien's, that's why I wanted you on the show, because I wanted people to see what you do and the care that you put into this and the compassionate person that you are, because it is not a detriment. Compassion is very important in my business. I strive for that, and I surround people that have that. Empathy is extremely important to me. And if you don't have it, then you're not part of my tribe. And you are a part of Ted's tribe, absolutely, and that's why you're here. So,
are there shirts?
There will be. I'm gonna have. I think we're gonna have underoos made up.
I make T-shirts.
Do you? Well, I guess we're gonna have some Ted's Tribes T-shirts coming out.
I have 3 things on the website. I do video editing.
Yes.
I do website building. I do. I make T-shirts. Do vinyl. Yeah. I do. I make mugs.
Yeah. Oh, listen, you're doing Brian K. Morris's website.
Yes.
You're working on that right now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I've been working on it for about a week now.
Excellent.
I really like what I've done with it. I've
Good.
tried to stay true to his aesthetic.
Yep.
While making it a little more dynamic, so that and a one-stop shop.
Well, that's it. He needs that. He needs that. He's long overdue. Long overdue. Hey, Dave the Supreme, what's up, man? Let me tell you, Dave's one of the coolest artists, man. I really like Dave. If you've never met him or don't follow Dave, he's awesome. I love the comic book, The Browns. He's awesome. Just check out Dave's work. He's great. He's an awesome guy. Thanks for stopping in, Dave. Appreciate it. But yeah, so Archimedes is falling over, but Archimedes is there. He is live and in production now. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to take that out to LA. I'll let you guys know what happens in the meetings. As far as I know, I'm going to be donating. I have two that I'm giving away. One to the script writer, that's Craig Hall, which is he's been phenomenal. But I wanted to have something that we could present in the 3D realm. And that's something I suggest all you guys do. Check out what Damion's doing, because there's so much. Where can everybody reach you, man? What's your CB handle?
Damion Waldbrunn on Facebook, Realm or X on Instagram, which I'm going to be posting a lot. I'm sorry for the coughing. Like
no problem.
I got my first COVID shot. So,
did you?
Still getting ready.
When was it? A couple of days ago, or?
I had some surgeries and psoriasis.
Yes, right. Remember we talked about it.
Let's wait on that. And then they were like, yeah, go.
How you got Pfizer? They kick your butt? They kicked my butt. I really had a hard time.
Yesterday was okay. Sunday was bad. Sunday was maybe not even bad. Like, get it. It's not going to kill you. Yeah.
It was like a little bit of a tetanus shot for me. But I'll tell you what, any of the problems I had from having COVID a year and a half ago were gone in a week. I mean, they were gone. I didn't have the ringing in the ears. I didn't have anything. So call it psychological, whatever. But I feel a whole lot better. I mean, a ton better. So yeah, definitely, do your homework. And if your doctor tells you to wait, then, go with the doctor. But I'm glad you got it. Hope you're feeling better.
Me too. And I'm going to be able to go to conventions.
That's a big part of it. Yeah.
RaptorCon. It's coming up in about a week and a half. And
and now you've been waiting for that one, right?
Oh, it's my first con in 2 years.
Yeah.
So happy.
You're going to do face mask too? You're doing this face shield?
I'm doing face shield.
Yeah.
I'm not even messing with a mask.
Yeah,
I mean, I might, depending on how well the shield is, I might wear a mask under it. But,
it's kind of like, I feel like Linus without its blanket, without his blanket. And that's the kind of, a lot of people felt like that. So whatever makes you comfortable, I'm good with that. As long as you're safe and you're making others safe, that's all I care about. If you need to wear high heels and leggings, whatever, do it. Whatever works for you. As long as you're
okay.
What's that?
So I prefer pantyhose, but okay.
Pantyhose, okay. Well, whatever. Like I said, be true to yourself. It's all good. It's all good.
I go for the mid-length skirt.
How do people when they're going to order if they want to order action figures or models or whatever, You go to the website, you fill out the form, and then you
That's what I
kind of
recommend.
go through it and pretty much see if it's something that you can physically do.
Yeah.
But like I said, this isn't a free operation. This is a business, and this is an investment. So Damien's time and your dreams. So make sure that you're aware of that. But man, what a pleasure! We've just scratched the surface. We're going to have a Damion part 2. I'm sure. Probably. Well, I have to see what's going on. I'm pretty much booked up till November, but we're definitely going to have you back.
I can
And we
send
might
the
end
back.
up doing, and we might end up doing like maybe we'll have you on another TED Talks or something, just a brief one to show people what's going on with the Archimedes figure and the details, the problems. There's a lot of things dealing with me. I'm sure that you could write a book, but we'll figure it out.
Legitimately, you're one of the best people that I've worked with.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot because Brian Rodman's pretty awesome. So thanks. Appreciate
Well,
it.
you're on par easily.
Oh, thank you. I don't have the beard.
Look on the screen, I'm looking at my big face. Where are you? I'm looking.
I like. It's good, man. Hold on.
Look at this big old face.
All right. No, it's good. Everybody needs to see you, man, because you are the man. You're going to be. Listen, a year from now, after everything's all done, and you've got a slew of people that want the work that you're doing, not just in books, but production material for their different action figures, and you've got 20 different machines running behind you. We're going to look back on this, and they're going to say, "Wow, look at that big face." But they're going to say, "Man, I'm glad Ted took the time and showed people who Damion is, because it's going to make a huge difference, of their lives and yours, man." So it's my pleasure. It's my privilege to do that. So yeah, you guys check out everything that Damien's doing. What do you want to tell them in closing, man? Is there anything else you want to go over?
If you want to find out more about Realmer, actually go to my website. It's really I just did some modifications to it. There's a little preview comic under Day One Comics of Realmer X if you want to take a look, and then there's the shop at the end. So go look at the comics, go to the music section, listen to the music, go to the toy section. If you want to get toys, go there, look at the images, see what you think, and if you want to talk about it, fill out that form. And then once I get that form back from you, I'll hit you up and we'll talk about it. We can do it over the phone. We can do it like this. We can, however you want to do it. We can talk. But my website right now, as I want to sort of centrally put everything in there, and so that's
one stop. Yeah, that's the way Ted Davies Artistry is, and you've got it. You really have to do it that way. It's really the best way for your consumers as well as for your own sanity. And I'll keep you updated on everything once we get Archimedes sent here, and I'll show you everything, all the packaging and all the fun stuff, and how they come unpainted. So unless your wife paints them, correct? So there's a few things there. Now, one other question I had: are there multiple resins? So, for instance, we've been talking further what we're going to be doing together. A clear version, something, ethereal. Yeah. Is there a clearer resin that people can use as well?
Every color under the rainbow. And
awesome.
You can mix with the resin mix that I use. We can do a white with a clear, and so, or a translucent. I've got a translucent green that I've mixed some white with, so it's like when it comes out, it looks like green plastic.
Oh, cool.
Once plastic sounds so just off the cuff. It's very high quality, durable resin. Like if you see here, where these don't look terribly.
I'm bringing your up again, so there you go.
Just
what's
off
that now?
Yeah. Those the arms, like that is a lot of give.
Yeah. Yeah. For a resin, heck yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't think.
His legs come apart. It's not.
Yep. Now if they break, they're easy to fix too. Is there just a 2-part? Or
they are. I also offer a lifetime guarantee on
Neo
Toys figures up to 4 pieces, because a lot of them will have 4 or 5 points of articulation, which means 4 or 5 pieces.
Yeah.
If that tends to go away if you start breaking pieces more than 3 times in a year. But you want a new figure, you can come buy one. I'll be happy to do it. But other than that, because stuff can happen over time, and I don't want you to be happy. I want, we'll get you a fully painted, unpainted, whatever piece back. I can, what I've been suggesting is you offer that. Like, let's say you were going to sell these, you would offer that as part of it, and then you would just hit me up and I'd get you a piece.
Right.
Or I can ship it to whoever, because it's like a piece. nice. Yeah, it's
Got
a nice padded envelope. It's not like boxes of stuff. So
Yep. That's well, I mean, like I said, I think this is just the beginning of some really great stuff that's going to be happening for you, Damion. I'm really excited, and I'm glad that I could showcase you, because I think that's what TED Talks is about, so that we can show people what, some greatness, and that's good. I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to being able to brag about you when we go to California for the different pitch meetings that I'm going to be out at. So that's great, and I'm looking forward to it.
do. Thank you.
It's going to be awesome. So, and it makes a huge difference, I think, marketing wise. So yeah, you guys check out everything Damion's doing. See if he can bring one of your characters to life, and economically, and I think it'll make a huge, especially even forget about optioning for movies, just Comic Cons in general. As we're getting out there, and you've got an action figure of your character that you've designed, and it's your character. I mean, your copyright. It's an amazing thing. I mean, it's just going to open up a lot of doors for you as a creator, I think. And I mean, really, it should make you really excited about what's available in today's market. So, and Damion can provide that. So, yeah. So, cool. Anything else you want to go over today?
Buy my stuff, please. I need to pay my bills.
Yep. Yep.
No, everything. I pretty much touched everything. I'm ready to go. So hit me up and let's see what we can do. Let's make your dreams come true.
Yeah, that's right. You see the website there, guys. We can throw the. What was that? I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I should use that as a tagline for.
Well, right, absolutely. We'll throw. I'll make sure that we've got the description too. I'll put the website in the description. But check out everything that Damion's doing, because I think it's something you guys are gonna. It's the future of what's happening, especially in indie comics. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this. I don't think this is a flash in the pan. And I think that this is going to be part of the marketing strategy for everything, whether it's miniatures for RPGs, whether it's these stagnant figures, or maybe a bust of a figure, or a fully actuated action figure. There's all kinds of avenues that we can do with what you can, and if anybody ends up dropping Ted's name on this, I get a finder's fee, Damion. Okay, so
I'll send you a figure. You get a free.
Okay. Fair enough. So help Ted out. Okay, so let's see. Carl says he's seriously thinking about the Mad Gasser figure this winter. I think that would be awesome. I look forward to that, and I will put money on buying one of those. Absolutely. So you got one sold already.
I did forget, and I do want to say this. I apologize for cutting you off. Yep. Base package is $250. For $250, right. 5 figures, unpainted, fully in the package, ready to go. They look like they came off the store shelf. That's what I want you to have when you get it. So for $250. That's, I tried to undercut that 18 point of articulation thing. Since you're getting a smaller figure and you're getting 4 to 5 points, $250 gets you at that right out the gate, and then we can work from there. If you want more of one figure, most of the time it's a one-time modeling fee, and then we
what
go.
A deal! That's a deal. That is a huge. I mean, that's a deal. So I mean, hopefully that's a Ted Davies exclusive, artistry exclusive. But that's a deal, guys.
Very, very. I have not offered that a lot.
I appreciate it.
That's what we're doing.
Good deal. Well, hopefully that helps people, and hopefully makes some Dave Supreme said, I'm sold. He said, you'll be hearing from me. Like I said, Dave's awesome. Dave is really a great artist. And the thing I like about Dave is he brings his whole family in the comic book. I mean, it really, I own actually, you know what? I don't know if I bought them at Comic Cons, but I don't think I had you sign any of them, Dave. But he's really good. I really like Dave's work. So I'm stressing that you guys need to check out Dave. But, and he's got some, I think he's a really good artist. I know you'll appreciate him, Damion, big time. But yeah, I think, I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I think you're heading towards stardom, some greatness. So, and I'm glad I can be part of it. So it's my privilege, like I said. So, all right, let me close out the show. Thank you for stopping in, Damion, and
absolutely,
getting my work, showing off some of my work too, and bringing that to life. So,
I seriously had fun doing this. I love
good.
Robot.
I'm glad. I do too. You're gonna love Archimedes too. He's quite a. It's gonna be the next series too after Retrieve's done is gonna be. It'll be evolving, and you're going to be part of it. So yeah, I'm excited for you. So thanks again. I'm going to close out the show, but I will be right back. I'll see you in the backstage there. Okay, hold on one sec. So yeah, so now you guys understand a little bit more about Damion, the greatness that is happening for him. I think that he's taking his anxieties and his creativity, and he's channeling it, helping others get 3D models done for their character development, for their businesses, for their comic books and their stories. You're seeing it firsthand here with TED Talks. You're seeing it when with my options in LA and everything else. I'm doing this so that I can present a treatment to executives on my book. And this is just the beginning of what I see is going to be a huge market for Damion, because there's going to be other things that I'm going to offer exclusives to different Comic Cons that I'm going to be doing in the future with Damion, different action figures and that kind of thing. And I hope you guys see it there too. I think you do. Check out everything he's doing. I think that there's some really great things happening. Let me talk to you real quick about, in closing, Grim 101 right now, just to give an update. Getting everything sent over. Right now, I had a couple issues with some of the barcodes that I had on the, but again, full disclosure, just so you guys know what's going on. The printer's sending me back a couple things that I've got to straighten out. But once that happens, we should have everything here by the end, the last week of August, shipped and here. Then I'm able to get everything hopefully shipped out, like I said, at the end of August, right in that week, end of August, 1st of September-ish. So like I said, you guys will all know, and I appreciate everybody that's helped me out get Grim 101 book one off the ground with Kickstarter. And I know I'm trying to keep you up to date on everything. The printers right now, everything's crazy for a lot of printers, as you guys know. And I just want to make sure you guys knew, that I'm up and up, and I'm making sure that the fulfillments are coming through. And I'm looking forward to you guys getting the books, because I'm really excited. We're trying to make sure it's as best as we can do. And but I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know when the things get shipped out, and it'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. Do something good for somebody else. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.